Welcome back to Leaving Cert Plus. This is lesson 1.16. We're looking at the discriminant. So the minus b formula, or the quadratic formula, is shown in the center of the screen here. You've seen this a couple of lessons ago, and this was used to find the roots of a quadratic equation. We're going to take the b squared minus 4ac out of that, and that's going to be known as our discriminant. Now, what is this the discriminant used for? It's basically a tool to determine if a quadratic has real roots or not. Let's have a look at what that means, whether it has real roots or not. So in a situation like this, you can see your quadratic goes below the x-axis and comes back up. Okay, so this basically crosses the x-axis 2 times. So it is said to have 2 real roots. Over here, your quadratic has the x-axis essentially as a tangent. So it just touches off it at one point. So it basically has one root, or they call it 2 equal real roots. The third situation is where your quadratic doesn't cross the x-axis at all. So it is said to have no real roots. Now we can use that b squared minus 4ac by taking your quadratic equation and subbing it into that b squared minus 4ac. That will determine for you, without drawing the graph, whether it crosses the x-axis in 2 locations, it hits it once, or doesn't cross it at all. So if your b squared minus 4ac is more than 0, you cross the x-axis in 2 locations, meaning you have 2 real roots. If your b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, that means you crossed it at one point, or you have 2 equal real roots. If your b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so if it's a negative number, it means you don't cross it at all. And that makes sense when you look at the function of our minus b formula. We said that we could use this to find the roots of an equation. Now, if this number in here, your b squared minus 4ac, came out to be negative, you're basically putting in a negative root, something like that, into your calculator, and that's going to come out as error. So really, you're asking the calculator, where is it that my quadratic crosses the x-axis? And the calculator is saying error. So that basically means it doesn't cross the x-axis at all. You have a situation like what you have here. So I'm going to try one of these questions for you, and then you can try the second one for yourself. So first of all, what's the nature of the roots? Now, nature of the roots, this is a way of asking, are they real roots? Is there no real roots? Or is there maybe 2 equal real roots? Basically, your answer for these questions are going to be in the bottom row of this table. Now, A for this quadratic is 1, B is minus 3, and C is 12. So the discriminant that you have to remember is b squared minus 4ac. So subbing in our b, a, and c, we're going to have minus 3 to b squared, minus 4 times a times c. That's going to be 9, minus 4 times 12, which is 48. So 48 negative added on to 9 is going to give you a minus 39. So minus 39 is less than 0. So if it's less than 0, we can say there are no real roots. And that's concluded from up here. So this is our b squared minus 4ac. Our discriminant is less than 0, hence there are no real roots. We're in this situation over here. So I'd like you to pause the video and try this second one. So what is the nature of the roots of this function? We've got a is going to be 3, b is minus 4, and c is minus 2. So we care about our discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. So subbing in a, b, and c, we've got minus 4 to be squared, minus 4 times a times c. So that's going to be 16, and that's negative 12 times minus 2 is going to be positive 24. So you can see that's going to be 40 altogether. So 40 is more than 0, so therefore there are 2 real roots. That's the nature of the roots. So you can see we're over here because b squared minus 4ac is more than 0. So that's just an example of a type of question they can ask you to describe the nature of the roots. And that's just the basics on where we can use the discriminants. You're going to see another lesson on the discriminants towards the end of this video tutorial series. We just have to work on our inequalities first before we can do these questions. That's all for lesson 1.16, your introduction to the discriminant. Thanks for watching Leaving Cert Plus. I hope that made sense. I'll see you again in lesson 1.17.
If you like this video, you'll love our notes. You can get some for free in the link in the description of this video.